The Antelope Hills Expedition was a campaign in 1858 by the Texas Rangers and other Native American tribes against the Comanche and Kiowa in the Comanche area. The expedition ended in a series of fights with the Comanche at Antelope Hills, which is also known as the South Canadians, because it surrounds the Canadian River. The fighting on May 12, 1858, is often called the Battle of Little Robe Creek. Here's some related information about other Native American tribes in Texas. The Caddo lived in East Texas and were farmers who built large village complexes. They were matriarchal, meaning they traced their descent and inherited leadership positions through the female line. The Haudenosaunee, a confederacy of tribes that called themselves the Tekis. The Caddo, a large tribe with a main village and satellite villages along the Red River. The Wichita and Pawnee, tribes that speak a form of Caddoan. The Tonkawa, a confederacy of tribes indigenous to central Texas. The Akokiza, Atacapa, Karankawa, and Tamik lived along the Gulf Coast. The Plains Apache and Kiowa migrated from the west into present-day Texas before European contact. By 1875, all of Texas' original Indian groups had been killed or forced to move to Oklahoma. Atacapa refers to both an indigenous people and their extinct language. Atacapa people. The Atacapa were an indigenous group of people who lived in the coastal and bayou areas of what is now Texas and Louisiana until the early 1800s. They were made up of several distinct bands that moved around within a set territory. The Atacapa were known for wearing breech clouts and buffalo hides, and for using wet bark for baby carriers and Spanish moss for diapers. Atacapa language. The Atacapa language was a linguistic isolate spoken by the Atacapa people. It became extinct in the early 20th century. The word, Atacapa, comes from the French attack apa, which comes from the Choctaw word hatak apa, meaning cannibal. The Atacapa are an indigenous people whose name comes from a Choctaw word that means, eater of human flesh. However, there is little evidence that the Atacapa actually practiced cannibalism. And some say the name was used as a slur to dehumanize them. Choctaw stories. Traditional Choctaw stories say the Atacapa ate the flesh of their defeated enemies. But it's not clear if these stories are true. Misunderstood stories. The Choctaw name may have been intended to refer to the Karankawas, who were known for cannibalism. And the French may have misunderstood the stories. Metaphor. In the early colonial period in Louisiana, man-eater was a metaphor for someone who would enslave another person in battle. Field research. In 1885, Atacapa women told field researcher Gatchett that the 1885, Atacapa women told field researcher Gatchett that the tribe had long refused to call themselves Atacapas. Instead, they preferred to call themselves Yuciti Ishaks, Indian people, or Yuciti, Indians. The Atacapa called themselves the Ishik, Yak, which translates as the people. 5. Their name was also spelled Atacapes, Atalapa, Atacapa, Atacapas, or Atacapa. 6. Atacapa is either a Choctaw or Mobilian term meaning, eater of human flesh. The Choctaw used this term due to their practice of ritual cannibalism. Europeans encountered the Choctaw first during their exploration, and adopted their name for this people to the west. 7. 8. The peoples lived in river valleys, along lake shores, and coasts from present-day Vermilion Bay, Louisiana to Galveston Bay, Texas. 3.